Would that be okay?
Yep, I'm ready to go whenever you guys are.
All right, go.
So I apologize. I'm out on patrol in my car, so I'm in a kind of a not very well lit. So I know it looks like I don't have any hair or something weird, but I'm here. So some updates with the police, just so you guys know how kind of we're handling things right now with the kind of upswing of numbers. We are doing our job just like we normally would as far as responding to 911 calls, anything that needs urgent in-person handling, things like, whoops, sorry about that, my radio's up a little high here. Anything that would require us to, make contact with people, domestic violence, mental health, problems of that, anything that you can think of where we would need to respond in person, we're doing that just like normal, business as usual. We are attempting to make any contacts we can over the phone, just because obviously in our job, we're contacting many, many, many people a day, and we're trying to limit those contacts as much as possible. So things like, if somebody broke into my vehicle but didn't take anything, we can call you, take a report over the phone, and or we're trying to send people to do citizen crime reports if they can do that online. So we are trying to limit our contact when it comes to calls that we can handle. Like if people call and ask, about custody issues or maybe civil things that aren't necessarily police, we can just over the phone navigate them to the right route of how to handle that. So those are really the only changes for us that we're doing right now as far as contacting the public. But we are trying to be safe, wear masks around folks, things like that, so that obviously our job, we are required to make contacts with people. We can't work from home. We can't do any of those things. So we are doing to the best of our ability, keeping everyone safe by, washing our hands, using hand sanitizer, wearing our masks, cleaning our gear, cleaning our vehicles, everything like that. So I don't have a lot of other updates. Obviously with events, everything is pretty much, up in the air or not happening due to COVID with those issues. So I don't have a lot of updates on those type of things right now. I just figured I'd open it up for questions, and if people have questions or concerns.
How's the new building doing?
It's good. Yeah, it's nice. It's up and running now. We're using it, completely moved over to that building. So yep, it's all functioning and working for us, and everybody's over there now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask from a policeman standpoint, police person, police officer standpoint, there's a lot of discussion at city council level about police reform. Do you guys, what's the officer version opinion on that discussion? I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, have an opinion as far as, I don't think that's something that I myself am, able to share what my opinions are on it. I can tell you that working for this agency, we've been the safest city in Oregon multiple times. We do great police work. You can see that in statistics. We don't have a lot of complaints. Things are handled, as far as I'm aware, all of the right routes and everything like that. So I am proud and honored to work for this city. I think we do a great job. We take care of each other. We, are professional, all of those things. So I would say that that's kind of just a general, I guess, comment, but I don't really have any specific opinions. I don't think that this is probably the place that I should air that, or,
Well, I mean, does it affect your willingness to continue as a Beaverton officer? Do you feel like you've got a target on you or something like that?
In general, I mean, I would have to do, I don't have a lot of research into all of the, specific things, but I know it has been difficult. Just over the past few months, we've been treated, in my opinion, a lot, I guess we've been treated kind of poorly by a lot of citizens, where before we've always been treated really well. We take care of our community, and our community takes care of us, and we have great working relationships with everyone. And I've noticed there's definitely been an upswing of people, me specifically, I can only talk for myself, but people have been a lot less kind. And, I've had people say some choice words to me, and flip-offs and things like that. So I mean, I don't know that is, I don't think that's representative of our city, you know, but I think right now, overall, what I'm seeing just working the road right now, people with the COVID and the social kind of unrest and everything, people are really at their wits' end and they're struggling, and people are, I don't know, sometimes we're having a hard time using our coping skills and being kind, and it's more of a, you know, attacks or stress. And so I'm assuming probably a lot of it is that. Yeah. So, and that's only in my perspective. I've also had handful of people come up and said, hey, thank you. I know this is kind of a tough job right now. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for working in the community. You know, I've had stories come back where people who, you know, I'm friends with, who they don't know, they know that I'm friends with friends, say, hey, you know, your friend helped me out. You know, she's out here working hard, things like that. So I've had a lot of, you know, people who appreciate us and have brought food and things to the police department and thanked us and cars and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I know as a person in the resident of Beaverton, I've always appreciated your community spirit and willingness to join in this forum. And I fortunately have not had very many interactions with the police, and I like to keep it that way, other than this. And so I want to thank you for your work.
Oh, thank you. I think the thing that's hardest for me right now is I'm involved in a lot of community things, like I've been doing for years now. Installing car seats for helping parent guardians to, you know, learn to install car seats. I do a lot of training on drug impairment in the schools and with community members. And I have a lot of things that I go out in the community and do. And right now that's all gone. And so I think part of it is what, I don't know, gets me really excited. I love helping people. I like doing that. And so it's hard right now, just not having those events to kind of, you know, chat with people and things like that.
Yeah, it's a weird time.
Yeah, definitely.
So Officer Wilson, on next door, there seems to be a spate of a lot of car break-ins, not necessarily in our specific area.
Sure.
Of course, that's a focused forum, so I don't know if it reflects an increase of that kind of activity. But is that something that you have noticed, that the force has noticed, that there's more car break-ins and prowlers?
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but it seems just from my day-to-day work that the petty crimes in general have maybe had some upswing. And I don't know if that is, again, this is just my opinion, not of any fact that I have in front of me, but we have a lot of, you know, kids aren't going to school. We have a lot of people that are home, bored, maybe not having employment. And so there has been a lot upswing of just petty, like thefts off of porches, thefts of packages, right, car break-ins, just those petty crimes. So again, I just would, you know, let people know that watch out for your neighbors right now. It's a great time. You know, if your neighbors are someone who have to go to work every day and they get a package, maybe get their phone number, just shoot them a text, or you know, look out for each other. If somebody's garage door's up and you notice that, just maybe a knock on the door or text saying, hey, I noticed your garage door's up, because I do think there's an upswing, and I don't know if it's just like idle hands or what maybe the cause is. And I know people are, you know, it's a stressful time. I know some people that are pretty stressed out right now with restaurants closing again, and people are, you know, losing employment again. And it's some people are kind of at wit's end, and it's just that crime of opportunity. You know, never leave anything in your car that you're worried about getting taken out of. And if there's nothing in your car that anybody can see, you know, it's really not a hot target. So, you know, just keeping everything that you care about in your property somewhere, even a backpack. Like I have a backpack in my trunk that has water, first aid kit, blanket, you know, so if I come across a crash and I'm off duty, you know, I have the skills to try to help, and I have a backpack full of that stuff. I don't even have that somewhere visible because somebody could think, oh, they have a laptop or they have their wallet in there. So even though there's nothing of value in there, just a first aid kit, I keep it where nobody can see it.
Thank you. So I want to let you know, we definitely appreciate you and over
Thanks.
the years, and it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Any other questions I can answer?
If we do have any, we'll save them up for next month if you can make it.
Yep, I should
Todd's
be
got
there.
a question.
Oh, go for it.
All right.
Todd, you're muted.
You're muted, Todd. Still muted.
I guess I'll have to do it this way. Am I unmuted now?
I hear you.
Okay, thanks. Do you happen to know if the city is still going to have like a virtual tree lighting? since
That
that will be done in person?
That I am not sure. I don't actually know the plans as far as December, what they're planning to do. I'm hoping that Miles, I think, is still on here. He maybe has better information. He works directly for the city, I think, event stuff. So he probably would be the guy to ask.
Isn't that usually
Okay.
held? Oh, sorry. Isn't that usually held right after Thanksgiving? This is why I was asking.
Yeah, I think it is. So it should be. I would check the website for events and things like that. I didn't want to present any events that were going on, and then of course they get canceled. So
Of course.
and I don't want people to make their way down there and then not be able to see something. But I think Miles probably will have a better grasp on that.
And I have-
Let's
and I
wait
have a
on that
trivia.
question a minute. And let's thank Officer Michelle Wilson, as always, doing a great job.
I had
Thank
one more
you.
question.
Oh, come on.
Go
Really
ahead.
quick, just really quick. So do you know who's going to be the beneficiary of all that space in the old building that you all vacated now? Who's going to be moved into there?
That I do not know. I'm not sure. I know the courts are still in there because I actually run the police side of the Be Sober DUI court. So my meetings and things are still over in that building, and I know the courts are running out of there. Things with COVID are obviously it's constantly in flux, and how things are ebbing and flowing as far as whether courthouse is partially open, closed, those type of things. So right now I know that they have used some of the space in the building for the essential workers. So they have the ability to spread them out. So they have that 6 feet and they have a safer work environment. So I know some of it, they're actually, in a building or in a room, maybe they used to only have a couple people, they're moving them to different spaces. So I think right now, I haven't heard any announcements on any of that movement at this point. All right. Are you guys good with me, or do you have anything else?
Great, thank you.
All right. You guys take care. I'll see you next month.
Cool.
All right. Bye.
Have a good shift.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Nobody from City of Beaverton for a report? Or would that be you, Miles?
Am I not good enough, Carl?
Well, yeah, when I read the agenda for tonight, there was supposed to be somebody from the City of Beaverton giving us an update what's going on with the city.
Yeah.
That'll be you.
So
Okay,
that's me.
get down with your bad self.
The November news is a combination of remote, virtual, and on-site services is extended. I think the on-site is probably out of date starting tomorrow. But you can find the latest information at beavertonoregon.gov/coronavirus. We're reminding everyone to help limit the spread of the virus and practice statewide requirements such as wearing a face covering and keeping 6 feet of distance from others. The library is continuing its BCL to Go program. So you can go on their website and request holds and make an appointment to drive up and pick up your holds, or you can do a drop in and pick them up. Both libraries are accepting returns now, and they are quarantining the turns for 72 hours. So if they don't come off your account right away, that's why. And they're not charging any late fees.
Yeah, so this comment on the library's West Slope is shutting down for a remodel, and that'll probably be more likely into February, I think, by the time that they're finished there. So I've switched over to Beaverton City Library, and that's working pretty well.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems with it.
I would just say, make note of the days that they are closed. I've gone a couple of times on Thursdays and they're closed on Thursdays. So just check their hours before you go.
Thanks, Terry. Also,
Great.
I got a dog's barking, sorry. We have utility bill assistance available for qualified Washington County residents impacted by COVID-19. You can get help paying water, sewer, waste collection, and other utilities. and it's backdated back to March through the end of the year. So if you're way behind, there is assistance available. It's through Community Action of Washington County. And if you go to their website, that's how you get started. And there's also emergency rent and housing assistance going. There's $300,000 remaining of the $1 million that was set aside for it. And then as far as the tree lighting goes, we're not doing an in-person tree lighting. They are going to light up with some different techniques, 3 or 4 sites across the city for people to drive to and take pictures, all outdoor. I believe one of them's the Round by City Hall. There'll be something at City Park by the library, and then one at Champions 2 Park on 170th in Farmington. That's all the details I have on it so far. I don't know when it'll be up yet, but I'll know next month. That's all I got for you.
Okay. Thank you, Miles.
You bet.
Uh,
Sorry, one more thing.
do we? What happened to that video thing from TVF&R?
You know, give me a minute and I'll see if I can get it pulled up or.
You know. All right, Dieter, what do you got going on? Who's that? Who's that other Terry person?
Miles, are you still queuing that video?
Hello, everyone. I'm your Fire Chief Derek White.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm still curious about what she had to say, or what's going on with this other information.
I'm going to try to share the video, Carl, right now.
Okay, all right.
Nice. Thank you for tuning in to this latest update from your fire department. It goes without saying that the last couple of months have been very busy for all of us at TVF&R. Not only are we still in the midst of an unprecedented pandemic, but as we rounded out Labor Day weekend, we were then faced with what would be an unprecedented wildfire season. As we wrap up the holiday weekend, unusual and extreme winds, low humidity, and warm temperatures kept us very busy with dozens of fires throughout our district. One of the fires ended up spreading quickly in the Chehalem Mountain Bald Peak area, burning approximately 875 acres. Our firefighters worked around the clock battling the fire while still maintaining a high level of fire and emergency medical service to the rest of our residents throughout our district. I am thankful to report that not only did all of the residents impacted by the Chehalem fire evacuate safely, but we didn't lose any homes or animals in the fire. This urban interface fire was one of the worst I've witnessed in my career, and I couldn't be more proud of all the personnel that immediately stepped into action to help with the fire, along with our many partner agencies who provided invaluable assistance. Some may not know this, but once we reached containment on our fire, we were able to deploy crews to Clackamas to assist them on their fires. Upon those fires reaching containment, we then deployed crews to the August Complex fire in California. Firefighters fought that fire and then moved to Northern California to fight the largest fire in California that they've ever had. Our firefighters have all since returned home safely. Shifting to COVID-19, we continue to respond in a high level of PPE in order to prevent the spread of the virus. We encourage everyone to remain vigilant, especially as we head into the holiday season and the flu season. We know it will be challenging to miss out on family and friend get-togethers over the holidays this year. But by all of us staying home and minimizing our exposure and spread, this will help us safely get to the other side of this pandemic. And while you're at home perfecting your culinary skills, we want to remind everyone that cooking fires are the #1 most common fire. Keep your eye on the stove and oven at all times so you can enjoy your culinary masterpiece when it's complete. Thank you again for listening to our latest update. We will continue to provide updates to our community partners in the coming months and are very honored to be your fire and emergency medical services provider. Please stay safe and be good to one another.
Were you able to see that?
Hello. So we're back.
Yeah. Were you able to see it at all?
Didn't see it, but heard it.
You could hear it? Okay.
Hearing it was just fine. Sounded great. It was easier to concentrate.
It was mostly Chief Weiss standing there talking, so he didn't miss much.
All right, where'd Joe go?
I'm here.
Oh, well, your picture disappeared. Okay, so wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Chris is still on board? Chris, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. That gives us a quorum. We can vote on anything we want. The next item on the agenda was really nothing. So as we spoke about last month, we're putting off the major elections till we can all get together for just our little group, till we have a chance to meet. But I'm thinking if we have a quorum, we go ahead and approve at least the board members, so that we can continue to have votes in this fashion, online, instead of having to be in the school gymnasium. I propose that all current board members, which are me, Terry, Dieter, Joe, Chris, and Jerry Denton, right? Oh, almost forgot Kent Slack, my vice chair. And that would be it. So if that would make, let me do the numbers again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would make 8 board members. So therefore we would need at least 5 people every meeting to do a quorum. What are your thoughts? Or would we just go ahead and vote?
Sounds good to me. I think that's a reasonable thing to do at during this time period.
I agree.
Aye.
Okay. Well, since we have a sitting quorum, I move that we make all the current board members our board members in our future. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering tonight. You gotta. I like Biden too much. I've been stuttering a lot lately. So anyway, all those in favor?
I'll second and I.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so passed. Now, I do have a question for Miles at this point. Since everything's recorded now, do we have to keep recorded minutes, on a piece of paper? Or all the minutes just go to YouTube?
The state hasn't really said one way or the other. So the state has said that if you have a virtual meeting, a public meeting, it needs to be recorded. The video needs to be recorded and archived, but they haven't said in lieu of your minutes. I think we're okay to rely on the video. Transcripts could always be written from it and voted on by the board at a later date. So I think you're okay with just the video, since you don't have a recorder now.
Okay, and since we still don't have a recorder, so yeah, you see my question though. So I have to go back through this transcript and turn it in with anything that we vote on, because basically I think the only thing we're going to vote on tonight was what I just said and when we adjourn.
Yeah, I don't think you need to write anything down. I think the record this will serve. So I'm told differently.
Well, Terry, you have any BCCI action going on?
Well, I had a thought that came from the last BCCI meeting for an activity that would be like a matching grant kind of activity. And I'm going to ask Miles to kind of fill in because I forgot which NAC it was, but they were doing a shredding event open to their neighborhood. And the thought was that a lot of the shredding events that normally have transpired are being canceled, because of COVID. And so this person was describing I forgot the details. Miles, maybe you can help fill me in. But it was, they just sent mailers out to folks in their neighborhood, inviting their neighborhood to bring their papers that they wanted to have shredded. And that it was described as being kind of a good introductory matching grant program because it was fairly simple to organize. And at the time of our last BCCI meeting, the event had not occurred yet. But so maybe Miles can fill me in because you were quite involved in helping this neighborhood prepare this event, correct?
Yep, I was there also.
Oh, you were, okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so they found a site within their neighborhood, a church off of Hall Boulevard with a huge parking lot, which was nice. I don't know that you need that much space with a smaller neighborhood like West Slope. We sent out a postcard to all the houses, all the residents in the area, invited them to bring 2 boxes of shredded material that they wanted shredded, rented a truck, had a few volunteers there, collected canned goods if people wanted to donate something, and we gave that to the church runs a food pantry since they let us use the space for free. Super easy to work with too. We had a line of about 50 cars up the street 15 minutes before we were supposed to start. But we got through them really quick. It was pretty easy to do. I would say 98% of the people who came with stuff to shred were of an older generation. I think younger generation doesn't use as much paper or they're not as careful about it. So that was interesting to see, just as an aside. Yeah, it was super easy. I think it cost about $900 altogether. They collected over 200 pounds of food. And I think they got 76 new signups for their agendas.
Okay.
So if it's something you're interested in, it's definitely something I can help you do. The biggest thing is finding a site.
Well, we have our West Slope School. We don't really have any churches. I guess if you count Birchwood, Laurelwood, 87th, we have that Valley.
Presbyterian, Community Presbyterian.
Yeah, they're a fairly community-oriented operation.
Where we've met before.
Yes, they don't have a very big lot. I don't know. They got a big queuing area though, if that's what's important.
No, actually, there's a lot of parking out back. If you check it out next time, over by the bus station, and there's also that lot at night or for other meetings. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, well, if you go past the church, right there's a huge bus depot.
Oh, like the park and ride.
Park and ride.
Yes, which is where there's room for people to park and things like that, and then attend the church as well. The church is the one that gave up that particular piece of land in order for that bus lot that fills up every morning. I don't know if that's the situation anymore, to be quite honest, because I don't think anybody's riding the buses, and that's why I tried to get somebody from TriMet on tonight, but they didn't have time. Anyway, sorry.
Well, anyway, that was an idea for an event. If we think that would benefit our neighborhood, it's something I would be happy to spearhead. But I need help with some people. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, Miles, did you think that you had a good, it sounded like you had a good level of participation, but it was probably a much bigger NAC than ours.
It was. I think I can't think of a reason not to. It's a matching grant, so your treasury comes out ahead, or not ahead, but even.
Mhm.
And it's a good way to spread goodwill around the neighborhood and let people know about the NAC there.
Yeah, that's the benefit. Yeah.
And as far as volunteers go, you need like maybe 4 or 5 on the day of, and then whoever wants to help plan it. I learned a lot doing it this first time, so
Mhm.
it'll be
So do you have
easier
a-
the second time.
You have a company contact then that the shredding folks that do this and on a normal,
Yep.
regular basis.
Yeah, and they were great. They had the roll bins, so you just drove your car up, put your stuff in the box. You could watch them if you wanted to see it get shredded, just to make sure. But and then you just drove off. And when we had so many cars lined up, he had 3 bins going at the same time, so kind of staggered them a little bit. But yeah, and the vendor was really easy to work with. They were probably glad for the business since so many businesses aren't shredding anything right now.
Good point.
All righty.
Well,
So,
anyway, would I need like a motion from the board to pursue this as a matching grant? Is that appropriate?
what, do shredding?
Well, just to fill out a matching grant for this project and pursue it.
I got this for $30. Been using it for 10 years at least. I shred my own stuff. So everybody wants to line up and give up their personal information and shred it in a parking lot?
Well, the city was doing it on a regular basis.
Right.
Pre-COVID.
Okay.
I'm assuming there was demand.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody brought this to the neighborhood and asked if they could help plan it, and she was willing to pay out of pocket the quite a few $100s for the truck. She said she would just do that for the neighborhood. Because she tried to go to 2 other ones that were being held, and the line was too long that by the time she got there, the truck was full.
Holy Moses.
So we didn't take her money. We wrote a matching grant for it. But it was cool that she was willing to pony up to get it done and do something nice for the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh,
So did the mailing just go to the people within that NAC area?
Yep. Yeah, it goes by carrier route, so I mean it's pretty close to the NAC boundaries, but it's not perfect.
What I'd
We
rather have, since the school is closed anyway, Westover Middle School,
Yeah, the school would be a good
we
location.
could do all the above. We could do a shredding event and do another, what they do before when those guys showed up with the suits on, and get rid of all of our toxic solvents that is in everybody's garage. Get rid of paint thinner, all that fun stuff. They showed up and they took all that in that parking lot. Even though it was in the middle of school season, it was on a Saturday, but school's empty, parking lot's empty, plenty of room. Everyone can get rid of more toxic stuff, not just shredded paper. They could get
Yeah, that would be great if they could be combined. I'm not sure how much more coordination that would require.
Well, they paid for it before. They just haven't gotten back, unfortunately. And that
Yeah,
was like,
Yeah, that would be
I'm
Metro.
guessing 10 years ago.
I think it wouldn't, doesn't that sound right, Miles? That would be Metro
Yes,
It's
it is.
the Metro
collection events.
Waste Roundup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you have a Metro council that serves your area. It's certainly worth asking them why it's been 10 years since you've had one. They rotate them around
Mhm.
and say, hey, we'd like to partner and do one. We'd probably get you more further along than just asking for one in your neighborhood.
You mean like
I'd
partner with another neighborhood or something like that?
We'll partner with Metro to
Oh,
do it.
partner with Metro.
Yeah.
All right, how about this? I will commit to looking into that. Metro collection events.
and plus we could talk John and Dawn to show up and, take some extra trash, have a couple of, we'll pay for that, couple of dumpsters. Everyone's got extra trash all the time. There's stuff that you just want to toss, but it's better to recycle it and make sure that, like I say, old paint containers and all that stuff gets in the right bin, whereas people could just show up with some trash, and that's the way, and then spin around the yard. I'd be, I think we got enough money to handle that action. That would, involve us getting involved with, as well, once again, with West Slope Garbage. But those guys are great, as we all know. They've always showed up for our meetings and given us a yearly update. So yeah, that would be a great, I mean, we got the room right now because there's no kids in the school. You know what I'm talking about, that big roundup over on the side and the front. I mean, there's a way to set it up really well. And so all the neighbors get rid of their, at the very least, recycled big pieces of cardboard and old paint and things like that. Can't get rid of huge gallons of solvents. That would not be good. But yeah, I can see the roundup thing being cool, and making it popular, and so that, like you said, the neighbors can get together, well spaced, because they'll all be in their own cars, pulling up, and it's like they did it before. It's like Metro did it before. That's the way it was. They had like 12 people in hazmat suits. I grabbed everything I had and I went back for another load. And they also take, brush treated lumber and all that fun stuff. As far as, hazardous materials. I'm sorry. I'm rambling.
All right, I'll talk to Metro about it.
Hey, Terry,
I talk to them every
why
year
don't
for
you
the last
and
10
I meet or
years.
Sorry?
Okay,
But,
so I will, I'll
I've
make
talked
a
to them
motion that
every
we
year
ask,
for the last 10 years.
make a motion that we task Terry with checking on with Metro for toxic waste disposal, and then also perhaps combining that with the shredding event. And then we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Terry, I'd be happy to meet with you and talk through it too.
Okay, thank you.
So we'd be needing a second.
I'll second. This is Chris.
Carl, you
Second.
Second.
We already
All in
have,
favor?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
all right,
So passed.
okay,
Thank you, Terry.
you bet.
All right. Anybody else got anything on their mind tonight?
I had one
Peter,
thing.
please.
Yeah, I got a note from Terry McClelland. She's looking for co-signatories to file a complaint with the Tax Supervising and Conservation Commission to look into the appropriate use of bond money for our sports field project, which we still don't know, at least firsthand, what the fate of this project is going to be. Her challenge is because of COVID, she doesn't want to go and knock on doors. And I just wanted to put that out there. She sent me a note a couple days ago, which I forwarded to some of the board members. So she's trying to get an answer from an entity that has the ability to investigate the use of bond money for this project. Any word on who is going to, or when PPS is going to fill us in on what's going on?
I talked to Heidi just last week. She said nothing. That is the word. There is no progress. There is nothing happening. That is the word from PPS.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to come to well, of course, they promised to come to last month's meeting, and they were supposed to be here tonight. But things come up these days, and she will be at our 15th meeting or somebody from PPS.
Okay.
That's it. I asked her. I mean, we just want somebody somebody from that, from the Portland Public Schools to come and say, hey, we haven't made any progress. We're stuck in the mud right now, as well as, of course, like everybody else. And therefore, most of the people in this neighborhood would like to hear that, well, we made no progress. I think a lot of people would like them to say, well, the funding might have been not be there right now, but we're not going to hear that yet until we hear from them. And so they've got till December 15th now. The best I could do.
All right, great. Thank you.
Todd, you have something to say?
Oh, oops. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't communicated much on these meetings, just been an observer most of the time. Is my voice coming through now?
Yeah.
I was just going to say on Mr. Miles Glowacki's report about the Beaverton Library, my wife has gone down there to use it because she uses the libraries a lot, and they've discontinued, even though they have all the signs still up, they've discontinued the drive up stuff. You have to park your car in the parking lot. If anyone's transferred all their holds over from West Slope to Beaverton, you have to park your car in the parking lot and go in and wait in line. There is no drive-up service, even though all the drive-up signs are still there. There was too many problems with, the police said, with people getting in the way of traffic and causing a hazard and stuff like that.
Have you tried our local library down here in Raleigh Hills?
No, the Beaverton City Library that he
I
said.
know, but this one's really nice too. Very nice people down there. Easy to get into.
So my question, when I went down, I think Tuesday. So was this, when did this happen, Todd? So I went down Tuesday, made an appointment. Actually, I did park in the parking lot, and I walked over. But then I discovered I didn't need to do that. So on the hall side, they had tables set up with canopies over them, and you could just pull up next to your numbered table, call them while you waited on your car. Young lady came out, brought the books, put it on the table, and you pick it up. So it seemed to be, so as, at least the Tuesday, that was the routine.
So
Okay, here's my wife who experienced this.
So I went Thursday and they discontinued that. You can still make appointments, and you can still park and get in line in the front door, but you can no longer, I think they called it grab and go or whatever it was before. You can't park on hall and call and have them come bring you books.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a problem.
Well, is that the same problem, like I said, with the Raleigh Hills Library?
Well, it's closing. I think the
Oh, they're closed?
November 22nd, they will, I think it's the last day, and then it'll probably be the end of February if everything goes well. And I bet probably more into March, but they're doing a complete remodel and they're boxing all the books up, and so they're out of commission until the end of February at least.
Oh, man. I had no idea.
So if you call them and talk to Kristen, she can actually switch everything. If you have things on hold, she can switch them all over to whatever other library you want to use, which is probably Beaverton Central because it's the closest. So that was pretty seamless. But yeah, they're going to do a complete remodel, so that probably is a good thing. And if they're going to do it, this is the time to do it, I would think so.
So maybe at our next meeting, we can get somebody, but so Raleigh Hills Library is part of Portland?
No.
And then of
No,
course.
it's part of the Washington County Library System.
Oh, it's Washington County.
Yes.
So we could get at least one librarian type person to come to our next meeting and help us out. And, you know, just like I'm trying to get TriMet, because there's lots of things going on, as we all know. And,
yeah, I think Kristen would probably be happy to give us an overview of what the remodel is going to entail, and what they'll be doing after that's finished.
But yeah, it'd be nice to talk to somebody in face to face. Oh,
or at least Zoom to Zoom.
Never mind.
Hey, I'm on the email. I'm on the email list for the West Slope Library, and Kristen or whoever she assigns can easily tell us, because they gave the details in the email. I don't have the email in front of me, of what the remodeling was going to be and how extensive, and the guess approximate dates that Mr. Calhoun has said.
That'd be you, Joe.
Yeah, Calhoun's my middle name. I don't know why why that has come up there, but it's Joe Whittington. So I guess other things. Phyllis and I came down with the COVID in early March, and it's pretty much taken us the entire summer to get over it completely. Went out on a few climbing trips, but it really slowed me down. So yeah, it's real, and it's better if you don't get it.
You're the first one I've met in my life that had it.
Well, both of us got it.
Well, that's good. I mean, good. I'm very happy for you
good.
and Phyllis.
And we got it early. We think we were in because Phyllis had her knee replaced in February, and so she was getting a short-term handicapped parking permit. And so we spent about an hour and a half in a very small DMV, highly populated office, and we suspect that's probably where we picked it up. But yeah, we didn't have to go in the hospital, but I coughed my lungs out for 3 weeks.
And there's,
I guess the other thing
everybody.
The other activity, I was doing the neighborhood leader program for Get Out the Vote in the middle for West Slope Drive and Walnut Lane and Canyon Lane, and happy to report that I had 53 out of 50 people vote. And it's possible that the 2 that didn't vote may have moved, but of course we just send out postcards and call people and annoy and harass them if we have their number. But so I don't know if I cannot really determine if they're actually there or not. But anyway, it turned out pretty well. I think we had a really high percentage for participation in the vote this year.
Did you ever participate in the census? I remember you saying you were.
Oh, you want to hear that story? Yes, I did. I was hired as a field supervisor manager. Went to a training session in Salem, then went to another training session that was held in Hillsborough. And I think that we had like 30 people in the training session. And the first thing they do is they start passing out iPads and iPhones for the people to use for keeping track of hours and all the other stuff. So those were the main tools. And so they're calling the names and passing these out. And they passed, for the 30 people, they passed out 27 iPhones and iPads to be used on this. And I'd done I'd worked for about 3 weeks. And so there are 3 of us that didn't get an iPhone and an iPad. And then the training started, and they said, open up your iPad and turn on your iPad. And I'm sitting there because I didn't have an iPad. So I went up and talked to the lady and said, this doesn't seem to be a really good use of my time. And some of the other folks said, well, you're getting paid for doing nothing. And I said, well, that's really not what I signed up for. So that's when I resigned from the census. It was not wrapped really, really tight. So, and I think I really dodged a bullet from that because I think it was a total dog's dinner with the COVID and everything over the summer. So I guess I didn't have to endure any of that.
Well, after that fellow came to our NAC meeting, whenever that was, January, I signed up online and said I was ready to be hired, but I never got any.
Oh, you really never got a response?
I did. I signed up at speaking of which, the Beaverton Library, and they contacted me 3 times, and they wanted me to drive down to Wilsonville for a blood test.
For a blood test?
Yes. Or no, excuse me. Fingerprint.
Oh, fingerprinting, yes.
Yes, they wanted to check my background. I said, why I'm not going to drive all the way down there. I live in Portland. Why can't, or Beaverton? Why can't I do it?
I had to go over to an Office Depot or something like that over on 82nd, I think. So, yeah, that's pretty standard for just doing the background check. And
I was in too, man. They liked me.
It was not run well.
I was going to go door to door anyway and talk to all, quote unquote, my constituents, which I like to do every now and then I could just, go ahead and talk to them about the census as well. I thought it was a win-win situation, but they shut me down because I didn't want to drive down to Wilsonville. Oh well, and I don't think they're really working it anyway. Anyway, that's the census. All right, who else has a question for tonight? Nothing. Okay. Anybody seen any coyotes?
Not lately.
I found some coyote scat in my yard the other day because I knew it was because it looked like my normal dog's poop, but it was full of cherry pits.
Oh.
Which means the coyote had been eating rabbits and squirrels.
Yeah.
Because I have huge cherry trees, and that's what he'd been doing, or he or she. So there's that, and there's something else. Forgot to ask Officer Wilson, but yeah, they locked the door going out to Highway 26. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Never mind. That reminds me. That's why I wanted somebody from you guys all got one of these?
I did not.
Well, they're going to be going nuts on the road in spring, is what they're saying here. They don't give you a specific date, but they're going to repave all the way from Cornell up to Sylvan exit Highway 26.
On 26.
Going both directions, and so everything's going to be closed at night, at least a couple lanes, and then so everyone like me that lives right next to the freeway is going to be hearing the same kind of construction that we had way back when they added lanes on either side, if you recall. or some people will. So yeah, that's going to be starting in the spring, and they're hoping to wrap it up by the end of the year. And that's going to be a constant irritant, and or, you know, but it'll be an improvement because they have to do it. And so therefore, if we don't get a lot of snow, they'll make great progress. We'll see. Anyway, that's why I wanted them to come in. And then, yeah, TriMet's got all kinds of, I don't even know what they're up to. That's why I wanted to talk to them. So I'm going to keep bugging them. I've already had 4 calls in the last 2 months, and they just don't have the time to send somebody to one of our meetings. Because, you know, we're just virtual and it's only 5 people here. I mean, seriously, is there anybody that's not on this page that I'm looking at right now that is like seeing this virtually? I have no idea.
You usually click the participants and it'll show people that are not on the page.
So there's nobody,
I do not
that can just
see
like
one.
view this, you know, without participating. Looks like it's just, you know, it's only the panelists, in other words. Oh, there he is. He'll have the answer.
Yep. No, it's everyone. Everyone is on.
Hey, Miles, so does anybody else get to see any of this at all, except for when it goes on YouTube?
There's only 7 people signed in right now.
So Miles, are you running this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in other words,
I do about 5 or 6 Zoom meetings a week now.
So
About 5 or 6 a day.
what should I be looking for? What are we seeing here on the screen? I'm not seeing anything.
oh, you still see me, Todd?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can go to participants and you'll see the number of people that are not in our panel here.
Is that speaker view?
Would be watching as a passive user, and there's 0. So we are among ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
everyone.
But this is a function of not having a means to communicate because the sandwich boards are out of commission. And I'm not sure that a lot of people are aware of the Beaverton city website where they can sign up and get regular alerts like what we do.
Yeah, I only saw this today.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
So Miles, is there a chance, I don't know, you know, to maybe get the posting of the neighborhood meeting like a few days earlier so we can at least attempt to reach out to the folks in the neighborhood so they are at least aware of it. It's kind of tough without the sandwich boards. I've had great hopes for them.
Give me 2 more weeks to take care of our treasurer who for 3 months in a row he has not been here. And therefore, he's the one that has to loosen the purse strings. And he is also the one that had the sandwich boards and all the attachments that we've had over the years made. And he knows where to get them.
Carl, can I jump in?
I've made my own sometimes out of cardboard, just to make sure we have people come to the meeting and or better yet, let them know that the meeting was canceled because there was snow. We'll get the sandwich boards up for the next meeting, I guarantee. And that'll help maybe get some more, action here. Some more participants is what we want, right?
Carl, I was just going to offer that if you send me the measurements, if somebody sends me the measurements and what you want, I have a sign company and I can pay for them out of our budget. And we'll just get it taken care of instead of trying to hunt down your treasurer and waiting another month. I'd be happy to get that started.
I could just drop off one of the old ones that we don't use anymore because we don't meet at the East Valley Presbyterian Church anymore.
Yeah, if you can drop it off at City Hall and just set it outside, and let me know when, I'll go by and pick it up. And we can get, and tell me how many you need and what you want it to say.
Well, we can just do the slide in and
I'll
this
do that.
is Zoom meeting, and that would work. So actually all you need, all Miles needs is just the I don't know what it's 24 by 4 or something like this, the
I
slides.
know. I've got one right downstairs. I'll just send him the measurements and, yeah. Okay.
Give me a picture of it too.
All right, we'll get some more made then. That'd be great.
If
Yeah.
if you need someone to store things at, I'm home a lot because I don't work, and you can check my references out. And I'm someone who's very reliable that wouldn't leave you standing every month. Make sure that your signs got to wherever you needed them or to whomever you needed them to. So
But you'd have to be going to Wilsonville and get fingerprinted.
No, blood tested.
I have been fingerprinted before. I can do that.
Yeah, I think you need a detectable pulse.
Okay, good.
I have one more question. Do you know when the next month's meeting is going to be? Do you have the date for December already?
15.
Oh, okay.
It's
Thanks.
always the third Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we cancel it if it's too close to Christmas, but this year we're far enough and no one's going anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Well, we don't have a quorum anyway, but I still move that we adjourn the meeting. Anybody with me?
Second. Hey,
Any
have a good
vote?
one.
All right.
Have a great Thanksgiving, such as it is. So.
You too.
Yeah, likewise.
Everybody get by and we'll see you in a few more weeks. Okay?
Thanks. Good seeing you all.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too, Todd.
Joe, I'm glad you're okay or getting better, and your
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah. So, but I have the other thing I'm getting a shoulder replacement in February. So.
Man.
Oh! Yeah, I got some
things wear out.
No. My dad just broke 6 ribs, and I sent him some CBD oil, and it worked great. I'll take
Good.
care of you.
Yeah, ribs are close enough that it works. Okay, good night.